Wake up 502. Roman is back in the building. That's beautiful. Haven Harrington is going to be calling in. This is Raashaan Myers, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. And it's going to be a very, very energetic morning. There's a lot of stuff going on, Roman. It's like, with Louisville basketball now has their schedule. At least, the ACC came out with their pairings for Louisville basketball, so we have that to talk about.
Yes.
Louisville has a new commitment. Roman hasn't been in the building, so Louisville actually has two commitments that we want to chat about this morning. So want to talk about that. NBA playoffs is going on. I have a couple of things with the NBA playoffs. Not only do I want to get into, of course, the Thunder getting it taken care of. We got a Game 6 going down tonight, 8 p.m. ABC. New York and Indiana. I want to get into that. But I have kind of an overarching theme about the playoffs that I want to get your thoughts about, Roman, as well. Just in regards to how the playoffs have played out this year. And I'll just kind of tease it like that. But I want to get your thoughts about that. We'll probably get into that a little bit later on. And then of course we just have, everything else going down, with Louisville basketball. Louisville football's been a little quiet, as you would expect. Guys are getting here. I believe 5 of the 6 additional first-year players or freshmen, quote unquote, that are going to be coming in for Louisville football. They are here on campus as now. Everybody's starting to move in. We're seeing the last of the football commits move in. We're seeing the Louisville basketball players start to get here. We've got some film on that. Mikael Brown is in the Ville, which is very, very exciting. We saw him working out with Kenai Roos, also Isaac McNeely, as well as Ryan Conwell are here in town. So we have that and many, many more things to get into. And, of course, if you guys want to get involved, the best way, 502-414-1450. That is the Wake Up 502 Big X Sports Radio text line. We would love to hear from you. I want your thoughts on any and everything that we have to get into today. And if you have anything else, and, of course, one thing that I've wanted to start, Roman, is that I'm going to start, we're going to do this like a request show. So if you all want to hear some song coming in and out of a break, let us know. Send it into the text line, 502-414-1450.
You can also drop those down in the Twitter chat.
Absolutely.
At Raashaan, at Raashaan.
Absolutely.
If you want to get in on the Twitter chat, we're now live on X as well.
That's right. We're live on X. We're live on Facebook. We are streaming across the land as well. Roman has put in big time work getting that taken care of. So I appreciate you, Roman, and all the hard work. Now, we can see the lovely face of Mike Rutherford and the lovely face of Raashaan Myers and Roman Kelly. Whether people like it or not, they get to see us. So, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're here. So, very, very excited to get into that. But I tell you what, Roman, the first thing that I want to get into, and first of all,
we got the architect on the line, Raashaan.
We got the architect on the line, Haven Harrington. Good morning, brother. How are you doing?
But I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing well. I know you're headed out of town. You're always on the road. You're always doing something. You know what I'm saying? You never sit down, Haven. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're the architect. You always got something cooking. So, first and foremost, please be careful on the road. I don't want any of my hyping hot takes to get you so upset that you go flying off the road, brother?
I think you're safe from that.
Haven does always stay on the move, always traveling, loves going up and down the coast over here on this side of the country and doing different things. He's always got family stuff or work stuff or sports stuff he's going to do.
He's the consummate family man, Roman Kelly, so he's always doing something.
Great son, great brother, great father.
Absolutely. He's doing it all, man. He's doing it all. He's the host with the most. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
So Haven, first of all, thank you for joining us on the way down. And I'm going to pose this question, and I'm going to set this initial conversation up like this, fellas. So, okay, we got the news. Okay, the biggest news of the week, of course, is a guy that Louisville basketball has been waiting to see have his commitment play out. I will tell you, I was nervous. Like, this was a guy that I really, really liked. And his name is Evangelis Zugris. Okay? I don't know a nickname for him yet. Roman, have you guys coined Evangelis with a nickname as of yet?
A couple people like Zoo. I like Easy.
Easy.
But I mean, we're going to figure it out. I've heard
Greek Warrior, yes.
Not really a nickname there, but
we can't take the Greek Freak. That's already taken. So that can't happen. But we have Evangelis Zugris, who is now officially committed to the University of Louisville. And I'm going to tell you why I was worried about this guy. Okay? Word trickled out, I say, Roman, about a month ago, maybe?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that this guy was looking to commit to the University of Louisville, but then we didn't hear anything. And that made me nervous because it really seems like, there's been a lot of recruitments where University of Louisville goes out there and starts showing interest in a guy, and as soon as word gets out, all of a sudden it becomes a bidding war. You know what I mean? So when we didn't hear anything from Zugris, it just kind of made me nervous. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit. And rightfully so, Raashaan. Us Louisville fans have been in some sticky spots here recently in the last decade, you could call it, of things that should go how we expect and should go in a normal path, not going a normal path. So naturally, when we've got guys that we know are potentially going to be commits, guys that we're waiting to see when their season ends so we can start the process of them getting signed, we're so used to we're all prepared for the worst in any given scenario at any given time. So naturally, a lot of people were a bit anxious about when this was going to be done, when was this going to be handled, and then you see the Ali Khalifa news come out, and then it's even more like, okay, what the heck's going on? Are we like now? You're even more. Your brain's like, I wouldn't be surprised if something doesn't work out with these two European guys. But to know that they're both on path, well, Zugris is committed and all on the way, and then Fru's season's over, and he's now eligible to be on the way, if not already on the way. Really good feelings there around centered around those two things.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to let you guys know, 6'8", 250 pound. I've seen from 250 to 260 pound. Big man from Greece. He's played professionally for the last 3 years. 20 years old. The thing I'll say this about Zugris, and the reason why I feel like I was worried about him, but that I really, really like this addition. This is a guy who can come in, and he's not, like, I've heard people say that this is a quote-unquote depth piece or a filler piece. He's a lot more than that. He's not a guy that's going to start, but let me tell you something about this dude. The thing I like about Roman, about big men that are a little bit undersized but very, very sturdy.
What's that?
It's that they know who they are.
Oh yeah.
And they're really good at what they do. And what you're going to see from Zugris, he's kind of an old school, like me being a child of the 80s and 90s. We used to see guys like this all the time. He is your traditional power forward. Okay, and what I mean by your traditional, what to say that again, Haven?
Like Devon Blair from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good pull, right?
That is a good pull. San Antonio Spur, right?
Yes. Yeah, so Zugris knows who he is. He's a guy that's going to play extremely physical. He's going to play very physical defense. He's looking to grab offensive rebounds, be a pest on the boards and in the paint, and he's going to defend like his life depends on it. And that's all he wants to do. And Roman, we talked about the fact that Louisville has so many guys that want the ball and can do something and can score with the ball, right?
That's my point. That's the point I was going to make, Raashaan. In the offensive things he's provided, it's simplistic and it's aggressive and it's he's not doing too much. It's not anything extravagant. He's straight to the point. He uses his speed. He uses the footwork he's got. He uses the quick step ability at that size. He's got some quick step ability to him for somebody who's, what, 260, 258?
Yes.
For that size, he actually moves his feet very well. And part of that's because he's a little bit shorter. He's a little bit got a better center of gravity than guys who are normally 260 pounds. Coming from being at that 6'8" size rather than that 6'10" or 11 up, what you normally see with that kind of weight. And you're right, Raashaan. He is the true traditional power forward. He's going to go out there and fight on the glass. He's going to go every 50-50 ball he wants to be his. He's going to box out.
He's a great screener.
Probably going to be the best screener on this team. He's going to kill guys on screens. If they've got him screening in the open court and you don't see it coming, he's not moving, and he's going to wall you up right there, and is the kind of guy that you're going to go down. And he's going to put a little umph into it as well. He makes sure he utilizes his body any chance he can. And I think Louisville, after last season, having a bunch of guys who were kind of figuring it out in this system, and then figuring it out defensively, and then having to kind of play out of position defensively, having somebody who can come in and anchor your interior defense, that no matter what, you've got an enforcer on the floor who can guard the 4 or 5 position every time he's in the game. That feels good, because you needed guys who can come in and there's a lower expectation on the offensive end and clear cut, concrete, black and white roles for them on the defensive end and what's being asked on the offensive end. And he's going to be able to mold right into what's ever being asked of him.
Yeah, and Haven, I tell you what, like the lineup that I'm going to be excited to see, Haven Harrington, is going to be when you trot out 6'11" Ali Khalifa at the 5. You have Zugrees come in at the 4 at 6'8", 260. You're going to have Javon Hadley at 6'6", 230. And then you're going to be out there on the perimeter with like Mikael Brown
at 6'4", 6'5",
and Isaac McNeely. That is a 1992 lineup right there. You know what I'm saying? But you got size, you got strength, you got a great shooter out there with your facilitating ball ball handler, and then you have kind of your defensive stout guy on the perimeter in Hadley, and you got your setup man that can run the point at the 5 in Khalifa, who can go down low as well as play out top, and then you got Zoo just running around everywhere, setting screens and grabbing rebounds.
Yep, you're totally right. You got Kason Pryor and Kamara ready to come into that 4 and 5 role to play a fast-paced, super athletic, high defense, high deflection level of basketball. They can go 3 out or 4 out or 5 out with those two on the floor with the athletic ability that they have. It's super exciting knowing you've got multiple options now on the bench and guys you can bring in and you trust. Now, those bench guys outside of the guards, the shooting might be a little iffy. I think that's one thing that hasn't really gotten discussed a whole lot, Raashaan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Javon Hadley playing back in position as a small forward, truly out there on the perimeter at pretty much all times offensively, especially when the ball's in his hands at least.
Yes.
Him having the ability to be that roll man, be a ball handler in the pick and roll, on those fast pick and rolls. And I think him being out on the perimeter more, having more open space to operate when will help his shooting. Yep. I think Kason Pryor, when he gets back healthy, having full space to operate because of the 3 guards that are potentially out there, a Javon Hadley and one other force placer, that's going to give him the ability to shoot. But we still, Sonny Free, we know he's taking them. We don't know how well he's hitting them. We don't know how often he's hitting them. So we're going to see how well his game can translate over. We're going to have to see if Kadai's jumper has gotten better, if it's gotten more accurate, right? If he's gotten to his mechanics down a little bit better. We know Zugers isn't much of a jump shooter. So Kamara still, the skill set in that ass, he's going to be working on it still. So what do you think about the perimeter shooting outside of the guards? Are you going to be worried about it? Do you think the guards and how many guards we're going to be running in 3-guard lineups are going to make up for that?
Well, I think that, honestly, the biggest thing, and you can give me your thoughts on this, but the biggest thing in this Pat Kelsey offense, and honestly for modern basketball, you need to have at least 2 guys that are knockdown shooters at all times. So, if Mikael Brown is shooting it as well as what's expected from him, if you have him and an Isaac McNeely, or him and a Ryan Conwell, or him and an Adrian Woolley, if at least two of those guys are guys that will stretch the floor, the defense has to space out on, I think you'll be fine. Knockdown guy out there. Because the biggest thing is trying to create space. That's the whole point. Like, and the thing is that you create space a couple of ways. You create space by even having great screeners, or you create space by having great shooters. And I think that the beautiful thing about what Louisville's done with this, with the way they've put together this roster, you have both.
Yeah.
You know, Sananda Fu, excellent screener. You know, Zugris is excellent screener. So you have a couple of big body guys that can set those screens, but then you also have to worry about Ryan Conwell, who we saw a video of him this week, you know, shooting, you know, well
if you go under that screen, if you go under that screen with Conwell, you're cooked. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he had the 3-point shooting off the dribble like that.
Yes.
That's a highlight workout video. It's a highlight of a workout. So I know, you know, take those with a grain of salt. I get it, but at the same time, that kind of range is not something like, if you have that kind of range, you have that kind of range. He definitely displayed it there.
Yeah, and you're talking about, you know, Evan Maya, you know, who does a lot of the advanced analytics in terms of the transfer class. He said that Louisville brought in by far the best shooting transfer class this year for any, you know, any program. So when you talk about Adrian Woolley, you talk about Ryan Conwell, you talk about Isaac McNeely, those are three guys that are expected to this year be, I believe, 3 of the top 5 best shooters that came out of the portal, which is unbelievable. That Louisville's got 3 of those, and I believe it's actually 3 of the top 4. I think that these guys were ranked like 1, 3, and 4 in terms of expectations for how good they were going to be in terms of shooting the ball from distance this upcoming season.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're talking about, if you have 2 of those guys out there, go ahead, Avon.
But it's also more than just shooting. It's also versatility. So just in case your shots don't fall, you're just not completely relying on that 3-point shot. You know, last year we saw this once injuries started racking up, and we could no longer depend on the 3-point shooting. You know, we had to manufacture offense, and this team can manufacture offense.
Right, I think that's another thing. These are better for that. You got to understand, these European offenses are based around a lot of spacing, shooting. So those are out a 3P offense. Like the offensive rebounds are a lot different. You know, when you rim and just try to battle for position because the ball's going to come off short, and you got to, you know, basically block out to get that. Well, 3-point shooting is a little bit different. Those rebounds tend to come in the mid-post area. And what you'll notice with European rebounders, a lot of those guys start, you know, and kind of judge where they're going to rebound about 10, 11 feet out. Okay, like they're used to going in and attacking from, you know, setting screens on the perimeter and then attacking to the middle to get ready to rebound. It's a lot different, and I know that's a very inside basketball take, but there's science to that. And Louisville was very well. One of the reasons why, if you notice, Louisville was a very good rebounding team last year, even though they lacked a lot of size and physical girth. The reason why is because the coaching staff did a great job of teaching these guys how to learn to rebound from a 3-point heavy offensive look. And it is different. It honestly is very much different. You're actually rebounding right around the free throw line. Like, that's where your rebounding starts. And that's a very odd way to think about it, but that's the new school, right, Roman?
Yeah. If you want to be someone who can get those long rebounds, and with the amount of shooting that happens in today's age, there's a lot of long misses.
Yes.
In today's day and age. And you need somebody who can be a ball hawk and track those misses down. Absolutely. Who can make their start from one place on the court and go impact the rebound, whether that's an offensive rebound, fighting for an extra chance, just fighting to keep that ball alive and not fall in the opposition's hands, right?
James Scott was great at that.
Great at that. And he didn't actually pull a lot of offensive rebounds down. He got a hand on the ball, and that led for it popping back up, and maybe he brought that down, or somebody nearby brought that down, or you at least forced an ugly start of the possession with a long rebound for the other team, and us fighting over a 50-50 ball, right?
Yeah.
Now they're not starting their set from the center of the court, coming down and with a ball screen or anything like that, because they just got chased after to get the ball, and now it's full court press from there with Chucky Hepburn on them as soon as they grabbed it. That starts with your interior. That starts with those long misses, and having somebody who can get a hand on those and get a finger on those, right, Raashaan? Because that's
Absolutely.
what it takes. And I think Zugris, I think Kamara will actually be an underrated aspect of that with his leaping ability.
That's true.
His vertical speed, his ability, his lateral quickness. Right, lateral quickness is key in that. And guys who can shuffle their feet side to side super fast and get up to their highest point on a jump off 2 feet. Kamara is going to be he's a great athlete in that sense already. He's already showed it through, displayed it in his last outing. A bunch of those kind of possessions. 15 rebounds in his last outing. Yeah, but yesterday, I think.
Yeah, 21 points, 15 rebounds, 4 block shots.
So having multiple guys like that out there in the interior or on defense, just attacking the ball and attacking the paint, it's going to be different than what we had last year. We didn't have a whole lot of size and athleticism, always constantly attacking the ball. And now we're bringing guys in where that's quite literally going to be their role.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Roman, and you guys can also check it out at my Twitter, at Raashaan, Raashaan. I actually posted some highlights from Sonny Frew's final game versus Wurzburg. In that 21.15 rebound performance. And what I want you guys to look at is when you check out those highlights, I want you to specifically watch his quickness and his agility for his size. You got to understand, Sananda Frew is 6'11", going around 260 pounds, 265 pounds. He is a large man, but his foot quickness, and I think that was one of the things that James Scott brought a lot of last year was foot quickness. The problem was you were giving up size to get the quickness. Like he was great at being able to be a switchable defender and kind of stay with guys. But where we saw James give it up was when he had to guard guys in the low post. When he was out there against Ryan Kalkbrenner, he was just getting bullied. He kind of got bullied against the big men from Stanford. Had a lot of trouble with those guys. Had a trouble with the big men from California. And I think the difference this year, upcoming versus last year with James Scott, is that you're going to get that same level of quickness and switchability, but you're also going to have guys that are strong enough to hold their position in the paint and not get bullied down low. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference is not only are we going to have one guy who can do that in Sananda Frew, you're going to have 3 guys that can do that in Zugris, Frew, as well as Ali Khalifa. So, I mean, I think it makes it a lot different physically than what we saw last year, but I don't think you're going to have to give up what we got in terms of defensive ball pressure. Now, Khalifa's not going to get out there and be a switchable big guy, but I think that the other 2 guys, both Frew and Zugris, can be that switchable defender that if they get switched off on a shooting guard, small forward, even a point guard, I think they'll be good enough to move their feet to make it difficult on those guys. So, I mean, it's definitely a different situation to have. And Haven Harrington, let me ask you, this is probably the roster as we have it now. Okay, we got Michael Brown and Kobe Rogers there manning the point guard for the most part. We have a couple of 2-guard wing type guys in Adrian Woolley, Isaac McNeely, Ryan Conwell. We have your kind of 3-4 guys in Hadley and Kenai Roos. And then, of course, we have Pryor, Kamara, and the 3 big guys that we just talked about in Khalifa, Zugris, and Sonny Frew. Haven Harrington, I want to ask you this. Like, do you expect Louisville in terms of starters? And I know that Coach Kelsey's going to play a lot of guys. I expect that he's going to probably try to play all 12 of these guys every game, if more than likely. But do you expect Louisville? I don't know if you want to give me a expected starting lineup, what you would think that they're going to look like, Haven, but at least give me a couple of guys that you know are going to be there. And do you think Louisville's going to start maybe a more of a small ball type of lineup or a more traditional, bigger lineup?
Not to cop out. Not to cop out. But I think the starting lineup is going to vary based on who we play.
That's fair.
And we'll see like maybe the same 5 or 6 guys core starters, but I think it's going to change so much based on who we play, what their strengths and weaknesses are. It won't be like a traditional starting lineup where you know the same 5 guys have to start or have to play major minutes. It's going to be platoon guys in and out. It's going to be probably different starting lineups every other game, based on does the team, are they, like Creighton Blue Jays, right? They have a big guy in the middle we got to worry about. I'm going to start,
right.
Maybe Ali Khalifa instead, or maybe they run more of a 3 or 4 guard setup, then I can match them.
Yeah.
So I think Robinson's going to put on who we play. and how the guys are playing.
That is a wonderful way of copping out and not giving an actual answer, Haven Harrington. I really, really like that. So, Roman, since Haven was too chicken to give me a lineup, I'm going to ask you, Roman Kelly, what would be Roman Kelly's lineup if he's, now that we know pretty much the top 12 guys, I feel that there's going to be a 13th guy. I'll ask that question after the break of who that 13th guy should be. But, Roman Kelly, give me your thoughts. Yeah. Who's going to be your starters to get this thing?
100%, Raashaan. I'm in the minority and thinking we're not going to start the season off with a 3-guard lineup. Okay. You didn't retain that you can play in the start, right? You're not going to start Kobe Rogers over a McNeely, a Michael, or a Conwell, or really over a Woolley. Even though you retain him, he knows your system. I don't think so. There's a couple people who do think Kobe Rogers is going to get the start at the very, very start because of that understanding he has with what's being asked of him. I don't think you paid Michael, Woolley, McNeely the money you paid them to come over here and not start initially. So I'm going Michael Brown at your point guard. He's going to start. He's your 5-star point guard. He's a lottery projected pick. He's going to be the point guard for this team initially.
Okay.
2-guard, I think it's going to be Conwell. But I think quickly Adrian Woolley will establish himself in that position.
Okay.
I just have something in me saying Conwell probably came for a little bit more money, having a little bit more established and less question marks around his ability to play at this level than Adrian Woolley was probably getting offers for. So I'm going to say Conwell is in the starting lineup, and then I'm going Javon Hadley. Javon Hadley at your traditional small forward 3, first initial wing spot outside of the guards. Right, he's more of a backcourt player than he is a front court player, but he's really that in between, right, Raashaan?
I like it.
And
absolutely,
because he knows what the expectation is. Now, I don't think Javon Hadley's one of your top 3 skilled non-guards.
Yeah,
but I still think with the expectation, the understanding of intensity, how hard you have to play for Pat Kelsey, he already knows that. He already understands that. And you're going to have him out there so he can lead by example, even if he's not who you're planning to start come January, right?
Absolutely.
Javon Hadley is in your starting lineup at the 3 spot. Now, where things get interesting is where it's basically...
It's a heck of a competition at their 4 spot.
But but it's also not, I don't think. And depending on this entire...
And I was going to say, this is everybody completely healthy, Roman. So
okay, if everybody's completely healthy, if it's for game 1, after any exhibitions, game 1, first official game, everybody's completely healthy. Casey Pryor is your starter, and then Sonny Frew is playing at the 5. So I've got Michael, Conwell, Hadley, Pryor, Frew. That will be the starting lineup at the start of the season. Pat, you don't have to even... I know you're listening to the show. I know you listen to us on Saturday mornings. Look, just call me if you want to talk about how I got that information. I just developed it on my own. Peyton Siva didn't tell me. There's no worries here. That's your best starting lineup. You know it. We know it. Now, Raashaan, everybody healthy, everybody being 2 months in of the season and knowing exactly what the new expectation is at this aspect of their career playing for Pat Kelsey, I think we go 3 guards. I think it's Michael, I think it's Woolley, and I think it's McNeely and Woolley. I think Woolley can play that small forward role.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's still Pryor and Frew. I think you still keep that size and versatility down below at your 4 and 5 spot. Because I think what I keep reading, what I keep seeing, if Adrian Woolley is the scorer he says he is, or not he says he is, but if it's displayed where at that level that can be coming here, and then all the writers and people are saying that he's going to translate perfectly to this team in this system and be able to average that 12, 14, 13 points per game again this year on a team like this, I think he's going to be your best scorer. I really do. I think he has the hang time. I think he has the ability to get downhill just as good as anybody on this team. And I think he has that soft touch and that finishing ability that overwhelmingly is going to make him the best scorer on this team come middle of the season in Adrian Woolley. So I do think we very quickly get to that 3-guard lineup where we can play a little bit faster of a pace and still have Pryor and Frew down low to be interior presences, because we knew Pryor was never going to be... Pryor doesn't want to be that 5 lockdown. You're expecting him to be a rim protector. If he gets to be your 4 kind of a defender, and he gets to kind of roam, especially if the 4 he's guarding isn't a good 3-point shooter, now you're really unlocking exactly what Casey Pryor can be as a defender. Because His bread and butter is his speed and his active hands. It's not his strength and his jumping ability to contest shots with guys that are 6'11" and 7 foot. We know he's not the biggest at doing that, and he doesn't have the highest flat-footed leap, right? His running leap's great, though.
Yeah.
And when he gets to get a little bit of a running start and play help side defense, he showed he can be a great defender. So in the short amount of time he was out there. So that's what I think. I think eventually you're going to get to that 3-guard lineup where Ruley is your highlighted scorer. But that's not going to be for a couple months.
No, that's absolutely fair, and I like it, and I like your lineup. I definitely like your lineup. So, I think that one guy that I feel like we all completely agree on, Haven Harrington, you can tell me if I'm wrong, we all agree that Michael Brown is going to be the starting point guard. Is that
100%?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like we're all on board there. So Michael's going to be the guy, like you said, Coach Kelsey did not bring him in to not start him. He talked about Michael being PG1 when he committed. So, I think that one's done. I think that Kobe Rogers will definitely play a role, but it will be a reserve role. So I think that's without a doubt. I think that those guys will be close to splitting minutes. I could see Michael getting about 24, 25 minutes, and then Kobe getting the other 15, 16 minutes. That's just my guess. I think that Michael's going to be the guy at the one. I've gone back and forth so much on who's going to be that two-man. I think it'll ultimately be Conwell just because I like his creation. I think he's got a little bit more wiggle than McNeely, which is the biggest reason why I give him the start just because of his experience, and I think that he gives you a second dynamic ball handler out there that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So, give me Michael at the one. Give me Conwell at the 2. I like what you're saying with Hadley at the 3. And the biggest reason that I love Javon Hadley is I always know that they're going to put Hadley on whoever the best player is out there that plays between the 4 and the 1. And it's going to be like whoever is the scorer, their go-to guy, Hadley's going to be on that dude, and he's going to shut his water off. And I think that this team is going to need that. While I love the offensive versatility, you've got to have that defensive lockdown guy. And Javon Hadley's that. And I think that's why he's going to be in the starting lineup. That's why I think regardless of whether it's at the 3 or the 4, he's going to figure out a way to be on the court. At the 4 spot, absolutely Casey Pryor is box office, like Stephen A. Smith likes to say. Dude is box office. When he's healthy, he's one of the most versatile, talented, stretch 4 type of guys in the nation. 6'10", can handle it, can shoot it, can be a pick and roll ball handler as well as a pick and roll setter. And he can be successful in both. I like that there. The one spot where I differ from Roman Kelly, and he already knows where I'm going, Ali Khalifa. Ali Khalifa is going to be in the best shape of his life. He's a guy that in only 19 minutes of play, Roman Kelly, at BYU, Ali Khalifa was in the top 15 in assists per game in the Big 12 his last year. One of the things that people forget about, Ali Khalifa, he played in the Big 12. He has Power 5 experience. He's a big man that's always been known as one of the best passers in the nation. The dude's per 40 minutes. You know how many assists he averaged per 40 minutes, Roman Kelly?
Let me guess, like 8.5.
8.5 assists. 8.2, actually. 8.2 assists per 40 minutes.
That's Jokic-like.
That's unbelievable. Per 100 possessions, over almost 12 assists per game.
The most point guards.
Yes. Dude was like literally one of the best passers in the Big 12, one of the best assist men in the Big 12, playing on one leg at BYU.
I agree with you, Raashaan.
And only playing 19 minutes. Like, that's crazy. Dude averaged over 4 assists in only 19 minutes of play.
I agree that offensively, him at the 5 is your best offense. That will be your the most points per game. The offensive rating when he's on the floor will be at its highest. You already know it.
Yes.
Is the defensive rating going to be there? Or are you going to have to hide him defensively? Is he too slow-footed?
That's going to be the question, but I think that's where the added athleticism, he's dropped 50 pounds. He's down to around 250 pounds. I think come the season, he's going to be in better shape than that. I could see Ali down to 245.
I agree. Now, if that's the case and it does help the defense, I think he's going to be one of the best players on this team. I think he's going to average, 10 to 12 points. If he's that healthy, if he's fully healthy, Haven, that assist number is getting to 5. It's going to be the 5 per game, maybe 6 if he plays enough minutes. because that's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
He's going to go out there. If you don't step up on that three, he's shooting it. If he's got somebody he feels like is slower than him, he's shown he can put the ball on the floor if he has to. He's got the quick post moves. If he can get a post move off in 1 or 2 dribbles, he can be effective. If you go ask him to create a bucket in the post with 3 or 4 dribbles, now you're asking him to do too much, unless he's got a mismatch.
And the beautiful thing about it, Roman, is that I don't think he's going to play many more minutes than he did BYU. I could see him playing between 18 and 22 minutes on the game.
The personnel around him is going to be so much more better than it was.
The personnel around him is going to be better, and the style of play is going to be a lot different because Allie's going to basically be able to go out there, play at 1,000%. And
with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and then get in and then get out and take a breath.
You're right.
Take 2 or 3 minutes.
That's going to be super valuable.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that we're going to see Ali Khalifa a lot differently. We're going to look at him a lot differently. And I think that that's going to be the thing that's most exciting about this team is that now Pat Kelsey can do what he really wants to do. And that is tell guys to go out there, you give me everything you have for 2 to 3 minutes and just go balls to the wall. Offensively, defensively, pressuring the ball. It's going to be very, very exciting. I know we are way late for the first break, but we had to get that roster breakdown in. When we come back on the other side, got a couple of things to get to. I want to get to Roman Kelly and his thoughts on the ACC schedule. We know who are
They haven't sold like half their season tickets they did last year because everybody's so disappointed in the football team and Mark Stoops. So you have to hype up the basketball team because you got to give Cat fans something to believe in.
I mean, Roman, like, am I missing something? But, like, I don't want to say that UK's roster is mid because it's not. Like, Jaden Quaintance is a nice player. I mean, he averaged, 6 points and you know, about 6.7 rebounds and like
8 and 7.
So yeah, 8 and 7 and a couple of blocks a game. He's a nice player. Mo Diabate from Alabama, he came off the bench. He was a nice utility guy for him. Jalen Lowe was, you know, a point guard for a terrible Kentucky team. Shot 29% from three, and Owe was okay. You know, he was okay because he averaged 16 points per game, but you know, he wasn't. Yeah, he was like the fourth guy on that team behind Amari and Brea and Jackson Robinson when he was healthy. Like, are they just trying to hype themselves up? Like I saw an article which I retweeted where they said, "Oh, I believe UK can be the #1 team in the nation next year." Like, it feels like they are trying to put a lot of undue hype on this team. Am I crazy, Roman?
No, you're not. They are doing that, and it's because they know they just brought in a whole bunch of talented names, a whole bunch of big names, a whole bunch of skilled guys, yet no philosophy around how they're actually going to work out together. And it's just a bunch of good guys. It's just a bunch of good names.
And none of these guys have been superstars before either.
No,
all these guys that are
playing at a high level at a bad team or at a low level in a good team, I feel like. So, which is, I'm not, you know,
it's very weird.
Be great.
It's very weird.
I think UK is going to be great. I think this roster is going to take them quite a long time to get to great. But they've got the defense, they've got the athleticism, and they do now with the cheating. So when you got those three things, you know you're going to be an elite team. And when you've got them from top to bottom,
I mean, I don't know if they got the shooting. Got the cap.
Hey, you're right.
Cam Williams is the only dude that shot a defense, and Cam is right now.
He has the one other guy, though.
You know, he's about to be like a 7th or 8th man on the bench.
They brought in another scorer, didn't they? Who's a good shooter?
No, they don't have any. Like,
they did.
Their projected starters for next year are Jalen Lowe, Otega Owe.
Both bad 3-point shooters.
They're gonna. Who was it? Mo Diabate, Jaden Quaintance, and somebody.
Diabate can't shoot.
No, I mean Diabate shot it decently, but he only shot it like 1.5 3-point attempts a game.
Yeah, they were all off the catch.
Yeah, like and it was in a reserve role. Like they don't have any proven guys, like proven let's go get it type guys. They brought in the big foreign guy Jevlovich, who's supposed to be a pretty good 3-point shooter, but once again that's a European big man. When you have Jaden Quaintance and Mo Diabate starting, so how many minutes is he going to get? You know, and you have Malachi Marino, you got to get minutes for him. Reese Potter, you brought him in. I don't know. Like this UK team is a mountain of men, man.
Guys up, but you have to hype these guys up because this is UK, right? And you spent the past 20 years with Calipari having big name guys, big name stars coming through, and now the transfer portal, got Duke and North Carolina, all these traditional powers adding big name, super talented guys. If you think you're that top tier program like UK does, you gotta keep, you gotta stay in that medium mix. And so you have to hype up every big guy, every big name you have, even if the parts don't match. You still gotta hype them up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right.
It's like give me covered, so that you really don't have a choice. Because now, for the past couple of years, you can't at least say, we should have a 10-man football team coming through. Yeah, we're excited. But after last year, they're like, this guy's a bum again. We're done. Talk about basketball season. We just puts more pressure on Mark Pope. And you can't let the department to get big names in there to keep the fans engaged, to keep the fans hyped, and to keep, and to play with everybody else, to match the Dukes, the North Carolinas, and Ohio States of the world.
I mean, it's really weird to me. Like, if it almost feels like, like I said, and the Kentucky fans don't like it, but I feel like because Louisville did some nice things in the portal and they got some, they got kind of their guys in, it just feels like there's just a lot of unnecessary. It just feels like they feel like they have to match what Louisville's doing, so they're excited. So like they have to oh my God, can you believe these guys? Like it feels so fake juice. It feels like fake juice, Roman.
It does. It does a little bit. And it might be a little bit. I'm not sure. I think that part of building a new roster is getting the fans excited. Getting everybody excited about what could be the best possible scenario for this team is what they're going to highlight. It's what they're going to emphasize. And when you do bring in that many names, I mean, first team feels like a stretch, but being a top team in the SEC, being a top
Denzel Aberdeen was the other guy they brought in, but he's okay, 34%
at a not extremely high clip.
Like 34%. Like
he's the one guy though. I think this system will benefit him and his shooting. I wouldn't be surprised if he's shooting 38% on more attempts.
That's fair.
Outside of that though, if he's not going to be heavy, he's not a creator. He's going to need
more of a defensive specialist.
He's going to need low Oweh in the spacing to create those shots for him.
Yeah.
But Aberdeen was the name that I was thinking of. That is like this is one of the guys that they're planning to have heavy in that rotation that can shoot. But yeah, Raashaan, it seems like they're just trying to make themselves. They're convincing themselves.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Fake it till you make it.
But I'm not saying they're faking it as in they're going to be bad. I'm saying that they're acting as if they're going to be elite immediately.
Yeah.
And this
like, I'm talking about, I don't know, this is the best roster in the country. I'm like, is this the best roster in the country?
Did one player come from a best roster in the country?
It's just
did one player come from a top 20?
Everybody says that UK spent a lot of money, and I think that's the thing, is that, I believe there was that one article that somebody said Kentucky spent like $20 million on this roster, and it feels like they're trying to justify the allegations of they spent $20 million. Well, if we spent $20 million on a roster, this got to be the best roster in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a lot of that.
Definitely.
And I'm like,
it better be if you spent that.
Absolutely. and I'm just looking, I'm like, they don't have one guy that I'll say this dude is a no doubt first team all SEC. I mean, I guess Oweh maybe, because
if Oweh replicates and then builds on what he did last year, he should be.
Yeah.
If JQ, in the highlights of last year that I saw, if he comes and replicates that for 36 minutes a game in the ACC once that knee's fully healthy, then obviously, that's a lottery pick.
Yeah.
He couldn't consistently do that when he was healthy last year at Arizona State.
Yeah.
He was on and off games there, not really figuring it out, in and out of the rotation, heavier minutes compared to longer minutes. So because he's a kid. He's 18. He's going to be 18 at the start of the season, or even. I don't know if he's even 18.
Yeah, I think
he's officially finally 18. Yeah. I think maybe they're going to be turning 18 soon at the start of the season. Like he's a kid, right? With that being said, he's an athletic freak.
Yes.
You saw in those highlights last year. He got to those 8 points and 7 rebounds very, very, very quickly when he was out there playing. It was the talent when they played, but they didn't play great talent. He was kind of inconsistent when he got hurt. So. If he gets back right, then that changes things. If he gets to 100% healthy by, say, December, that team is going to be on path to making things happen, because then you've got that anchor offensively who's unguardable, can pretty much dunk it over anybody in a 2-dribble drop step. Right?
Yeah. Quaintance was 9 points, 7.9 rebounds, 1.5 assists. So basically, 9 points, 8 rebounds, and he played. Let's see. JQ played in 24 games.
I was going to guess like 16.
Yeah, he played in 24 games, averaging. He put in about 30 minutes a game when he was playing.
Yeah, and that wasn't always the most consistent. Yeah, kind of struggled with foul trouble occasionally.
Averaged the steal in 2.5 blocks.
What was the free throw percentage?
Free throw percentage, he was at 47%. Terrible.
That's weird.
Yeah, for 48%.
That's extremely bad.
Yeah, that's Shaq-like.
Yeah, that's weird. He's too strong at the free throw line. His hands are too big, so I guess he's already permanent bad free throw shooter for the rest of his life if you're shooting 47% at 17 years old.
Hack acquaintance,
for sure. Hack a JQ. Yeah. But with that being said, Raashaan, I think this fully healthy, fully playing the best they can play in the Mark Post system, that's potential best player on the team.
But like I'm saying, on a bad Arizona State team, he was the 6th leading scorer. Like to me, that's the thing with all these guys.
You got to be the number one scorer.
None of these guys are stars. Like UK's paid all this money, but none of these guys were stars on their previous team. None of them. No, not even Oweh. I mean, Oweh wasn't the star.
He was their go-to guy. Wasn't the star.
Only time when Oweh looked like a star was against Oklahoma. Against Oklahoma, Oweh became
game winner. Yeah, I guess at the end of the year he was kind of near that stardom.
But I mean, it was about Amari Williams. It was about Kobe Bryant and Jackson Robinson before he got hurt.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant didn't get the clean looks and had a high rate. They were a different team completely every game.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about spacing, and you know,
they don't have a Kobe Bryant this year.
That's my point. It's like what Owe likes to do, attacking the basket. Is that going to work when you don't have that floor spacer? That nobody's going to go follow Denzel Aberdeen 30 feet out. Nobody's doing that. Like, to me, Kentucky's biggest enemy is going to be the 2-3 zone. Pack the paint, and let's see if you can hit shots. That to me is going to be. Go ahead, Haven.
What's up, Haven?
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that UK may have overcompensated for the physicality they faced in the SEC last year?
Oh, absolutely. I think that this was completely a response to the fact that UK, could not physically match up with an Auburn and could not physically match up with the Alabama.
The only player they had who consistently could get to the rim. Consistently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, Amari Williams did a decent job, but even Amari got tossed around a little bit. And I think it was an overreaction. I just think that Mark Pope, instead of saying, I'm going to get a couple of guys to compete physically, he basically made his whole team a team full of athletes with no shooters. But this is a guy who likes to have 3 to 4 shooters on the perimeter to stretch out the defense. I just don't know how it works.
Yeah, he's going to rely on that dribble penetration. He's going to rely on being a team that can get to the rim at will, he thinks.
I guess so, but I mean, the thing is like, if you don't have the spacing in college basketball, there is no defense of 3 seconds. So guess what? I can sit
Malawak. That's why he was such a
3 or 4 guys in there, in the paint.
Why those Duke was so hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the thing. It's like, somebody's got to be a dude that can stretch the defense. And Jalen Lowe hasn't shown that yet. They're banking on everybody being on this, Butler plan, where Butler was a, 32% 3-point shooter at San Diego State. Comes Kentucky, shoots 38 or 39%. They're basically using that reasoning for everybody.
No, it's not.
That's
you put the ball in his hands a lot more, and you gave him much more of a green light.
But I'll tell you what, we're at the end of the first. The first break. We'll be coming back. Wake up 502 96.1 FM. I'm a Humpty Nose.
Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk, 1450 and 96.1 FM, the Big X Sports Radio, WXVW, Jeffersonville.
Being a senior makes playing high school sports even more special. I'm Claire Hack from Jennings County High School. Over the last 4 years, I think about all the memories made, how teammates became best friends, how coaches mentored me and helped me grow.
I'm Allie Ward from Boonville High School. Being a senior is bittersweet. It's fun being a leader for younger teammates, but it will also be sad the last time I wear my jersey, take my last bus ride, huddle up at our last matchup.
I'm Grayson Neely from WestEll High School. I'll miss the adrenaline rush, fans cheering, the community support. Everything we've learned about the game and life, our memories will never forget.
I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Thank you to our seniors for being champions of high school sports and representing your communities proudly these past 4 years. Fans, support your seniors by buying a ticket to their final game. This is our final send-off. This is one final memory. This is your IHSA.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 is going down in the Humpty Dance. Is via the request line, Mr. Kalen himself.
Shout out to Mr. Scooter Dingus, Justin Kalen, host of Sunrise with Scoots from 7 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday with the song suggestion there.
I appreciate Scoots up and listening early in the morning. Every
Saturday.
I love that. Shout out Scoots. That's what's up, man. But I heard we got a couple of texts in there, so we got Scoots putting the request in. If you want to get a request in as well, 502-414-1450. We are taking song requests for our in and out. Nobody else in the market does that. So we taking song requests. Let us know what you want to hear, and also any of your thoughts on anything we're talking about this morning. But what else we got over there, Rome?
Got a text in about that little UK spiel you just went on there.
All right.
Texter says, Myers, stop it. O is a beast, and U of L is hyping up players also.
Well, I will say two things to this. Louisville fans should be hyping up, as I talked about. Evan Myers said that Louisville has 3 of the 4 best shooters next year in college basketball. And guess what? For a team that shoots 3-pointers, I would say that's a pretty big deal. We saw what just a single Rain Smith did in terms of effectiveness, and Louisville didn't have much outside of Rain Smith in terms of shooting. So, yeah, I think that when you have the number 1, reputed shooter returning in college basketball in Isaac McNeely, Louisville got that. That deserves to be hyped up. You have Ryan Caldwell, the number 4 rated shooter coming back in college basketball. I think that's big time. When you have Adrian Woolley, the number 3 rated shooter returning in college basketball, I think that deserves to be hyped. And guess what? I'm not doubting that the University of Kentucky can be good, okay, and that they don't have good players. The issue is that University of Kentucky has a lot of players that don't necessarily fit. Like I said, if these guys were playing for, Kelvin Sampson at Houston, that would make sense because, Kelvin Sampson plays a very physical kind of ground and pound style offense. If these guys were playing for Virginia and Tony Bennett was still there, I would understand it because they're playing a ground and pound, very physical defensive style of basketball. That my biggest issue with the Kentucky recruiting class is that none of these guys outside of, Jevlovich, the big guy from Europe, none of these guys really fit the Mark Pope system.
Yeah, they don't.
Like, and that has
maybe he's changing it though. Maybe he's trying to morph the Mark Pope system.
He feels that in the SEC I've got to get more physical.
Yeah,
that's clear.
Different than the Big 12.
That's clear.
The guards that you're capable of getting right when you're the coach of Kentucky is different. You got to go and get them.
But I will say the biggest reason that Kentucky had success last year is because they were out there scoring 90 some odd points per game. With this roster, you're not scoring in the 90s. This roster, you're scoring in the 70s.
And should be preventing the other team from scoring over 65.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different style of team than what we're used to. And it's a different style of team than what Mark Pope has ever had.
Yeah, you put a lot of points. They're trying to outscore.
Yeah, I mean, that's been Pope's style since he got here. But let's go ahead. We're going to the phone line. So who we got?
Jay Has and the architect still on the line.
That's what's up. We got Jay on the line with us. Jay Has, how you doing this morning, brother?
You there, Jay?
Hey.
I know we got Haven still there. I don't know, Jay. Man.
I got you, Raashaan.
Oh, there he is. What's going on, Jay? How you doing this morning, brother?
How you feeling, man?
Hey, it's a beautiful thing. It's a Saturday morning. We up there. Oh, how you feeling?
Well, listen, I'm doing good, man. But check this out, man. We got so much this stuff jumping off for our sports, man. I can't wait till the 13th of June, man. Well, we're the house, baby. Put them all.
That's
right. Man, it's going down. I got my main man, Big Ed, on the line with Sean Myers and R. Kelly.
Oh, that's what's up. Big Ed, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, fellas?
Man, getting ready. We cannot wait. We got the big fight coming up. Ed, make sure you let everybody know, man. What's going on? What's going down, Freedom Hall?
Friday night, June 13th, Freedom Hall. We got 17 mixed martial arts fights with LFA 210 coming back to Louisville, Kentucky, taking place in the home of Muhammad Ali's first professional fight ever of all time. We ready to go.
Absolutely, Ed. I cannot wait. LFA coming back to Louisville, LFA 210, man. We got the great opportunity to sit down with you and have a great interview with you, talking about all the great things that LFA is doing. You guys are doing it big all around the country as well as internationally, man. Just for folks that don't know much about the LFA, the Wake Up 502 crew has not heard you discuss and talk about the LFA. Just kind of let everybody know a little bit about what the LFA is and what you guys got cooking right now, man.
LFA is the #1 feeder for UFC. Currently, we have about 37% of the UFC roster is LFA alumni, and we've been at this for 20 years plus.
Yeah, and you guys, I believe, have you all have what? 5? Is it 5 international fights besides the fights that you have in the U.S. right now?
Yes, Brazil's a big market for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, LFA is internationally known. We talked about a lot of the fighters. Of course, local product Lance Lawrence is going to be one of the headliners for LFA 210 here in Louisville. Have seen Lance perform several times. You talked about Lance and how he kind of, became a star under you guys watching at one of your previous shows, right?
Yeah, well, last time we were here, our main event fell out, so we pushed Lance Lawrence up to the main event, and it was nominated for Fight of the Year, and it was a hell of a performance.
Yeah, no. Lance is the man. Very excited to see him. Let me tell y'all something, man. The kid's got hands. He's very, very technical. He's quick. He's smart. Very, very savvy in the octagon. Cannot wait to see him come back. Ed, if folks want to get out there, check out the LFA coming up. What's the best way to be a part of LFA 210 at Freedom Hall?
Well, they can win tickets through you guys. That's a good one right there.
That's the best way, right?
You can't beat that. Wake Up 502.
but if they want to get more information, give me that website one more time, please, Ed.
Ticketmaster.com. Just search for LFA 210.
Absolutely.
Or you can also go to wakeup502.com as well.
Yes, you can.
I put the link on our website to the fight.
Discounted tickets on wakeup502.com. Go get them now.
Absolutely. We're going to have more folks coming out and discussing and talking about the upcoming fights as well, Ed. So happy and excited that Wake Up 502 and Main Event Sports can be a part of what the LFA is doing. Definitely appreciated our sit down and talk with you, man. Just continued luck. So what is happening after you guys come to Louisville on June 13th? Where do you go next after that?
I'm not sure where our next fight is. I think it's in California, July 13th, maybe July 11th.
Okay. I know you guys stay busy. You have, you try to put an event out there. What is it? Is it a fight a month, every 2 months? I know you guys stay super busy, right?
Well, sometimes it's 3 times a month. Sometimes it's twice a month. It really depends on the month. We average about 26 fights a year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's LFA stays super busy. Coming to an arena near you and coming to Freedom Hall June 13th. So appreciative of you, Ed. Anything that Wake Up 502 or Main Event Sports can do to get the word out there, we will be out there, checking it all out. We're going to be broadcasting live from the event. So definitely appreciate you coming and checking in with us this morning, brother.
Yeah, of course. And anybody out there that cannot make it to Freedom Hall, don't forget we are broadcasting live on UFC Fight Pass in 200 countries. So if you don't want to leave the house, you can still check us out at UFC Fight Pass.
There we go. Absolutely appreciate it. Big Ed, LFA.
Main Event Sports, Wake Up 502, be down there at ringside.
What it's all about, man. The UFC back in the building, back in the city.
Absolutely, man. That's what we do. Jay has, we've been covering, MMA and boxing here locally longer than anybody. We put the spotlight on it. We're passionate about it. We got Roman Kelly now has the bug, Jay has. So I know he's going to be out there. He's going to want to be out there near the octagon. He wants to be a part of the action. Maybe we can get Roman in there for an exhibition fight or something.
Well, if you need any announcing work, Ed,
I'm
you need any announcers, Ed, just let me know.
That's in radio and media and TV, whatever. Meet me and join me there, the 13th, Jay Harris, at Freedom Hall, 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I don't know if Jerry told you, but we confirmed Jeff Brom and 50 members of the U of L football team hopefully coming out. Yes, sir.
Nice. Absolutely.
Oh, damn.
Hey, so make sure you guys get out there. It's going down LFA 210, Freedom Hall. Coach Brom is going to be out there. The football team is going to be out there. Check it out. Everybody loves the MMA. Like, it's the most visceral. Everybody loves the fights. Everybody wants to see that. The crowds are electric. It's passion unlike any other. Even if you have no association with the guys in the, out there fighting, it's just something about seeing two men enter, one man leave. You feel me? Like,
oh yeah, to the death.
I love it. No, and we appreciate it. LFA 210. Can't wait to see you, brother.
All right, you guys. Thank you.
There we go. Hey, Jay Has, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mars.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, man. I like I said, the kid that's going through the NCAA thing, he's going to be cleared to play.
Ali Khalifa, yes, sir.
That's what I heard.
Hey, I like it. I know you always have your head to the ground.
We're just stacking and macking. Man, that's all Kelly's doing, man, is stacking and macking.
Oh, yeah. No. Hey, Pat Kelsey is getting it together, brother. So, I have no doubts that, Allie's going to be there. Louisville basketball. We've been talking a lot of basketball this morning. So, yeah, it's going down. They got that roster together. I appreciate it, Jay.
All right, man. I'll see you later on, Mars and R. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
See you, Jay.
All right, Jay.
Thanks, Ed.
There we go. We got Jay Hash, Big Ed checking in. It's exciting, man.
The architect still on the line?
Haven Harrington? Yeah, absolutely. Haven Harrington, I'm excited for the fights, man.
And speaking of fights, tonight at Stooges, starting at 5:30, Juicy and Tim Moten are going to be fighting as well, boxing, going on tonight, Superstars of Boxing.
At Stooges? What, in the back?
At Stooges, that's right. Doors open at 5:30.
Wow, I didn't know they had boxing going on in Stooges.
There it is.
We might need to go call that on Breakdown 502, Raashaan.
Absolutely, I like it. Yeah, hey, and anybody, Mayhem Moten, man, Tim Moten, let me tell you something. One of the most exciting heavyweights that you'll ever see fight, man. Tim is charismatic. He was in here talking with us a couple of weeks ago, talking about the upcoming fight. Of course, everybody knows Juicy Duncan. One of the top young up-and-coming fighters in the country, from right here in the 502, man. So, absolutely, get out there to Stooges tonight and support the locals, man. To Juicy and Tim Moten both, man. Big time. Appreciate it. I'm glad you remember that, Haven Harrington. I wanted to give them a shout-out, man.
Yeah, there you go.
My man.
And speaking of shout-outs,
Yes.
I have one shout out.
Okay.
I would like to shout out the greatness that is the SEC and their commissioner for trying to single-handedly ruin college sports by themselves.
Greg Stanky.
You guys go.
I mean, the SEC, I'm glad you brought that up, Haven Hanson. SEC has been the biggest bunch of whiny babies the last 2-3 days. So upset about, everybody know, just to give you all a background of what's been going on over the last couple of days. So there was a change to the format for the 12-team playoff, okay? Everybody knows this was the first year of the 12-team playoff, and the way the playoff was set up, each team that won one of the Power 4 championships, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, SEC, those teams automatically got the top 4 seeds. Okay, so you had, the Big 12 champion in Arizona State. You had the ACC champion in Clemson get those higher rated seeds, even though those guys weren't ranked in the top 4. Okay, so basically what happened was it screwed up everything. It screwed up all the pairings for the seeding.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was that they made a ruling that they were going to go and you're still going to get the automatic bid for winning one of those leagues or being the top-rated group of 5 team.
But you're not going to be a top 4 seed.
But you're not going to be a top 4 seed, okay? Because Boise State ended up being the top 4 seed.
Right?
They were the 4 seed, and then Arizona State, I believe, was the 3 seed. And it ended up screwing up all the pairings. So what they did was they announced that, you know what? You're still going to get an automatic bid if you're the top group of 5 or win any of the Power 4s, but you're not going to get a guaranteed top 4. Like, basically, you have to be ranked in the top 4 to get those top 4 buys.
Yeah.
And because it makes sense, right? It absolutely makes sense. And what basically happened was the commissioners of the Big 12 and the ACC came out and said, this didn't necessarily fit our best interest, but this was in the best interest of football, college football, and we're going to do what's best for the sport.
Yeah.
That, the Big 12 and the ACC are 2 conferences that are willing to do what's good for the sport. Well, Greg Stanky got in his feelings. He's the SEC commissioner. Stanky got in his feelings because the ACC and the Big 12 want to say, we're doing what's best for the sport. Obviously, that has to be a shot at the SEC and the Big 10.
Yep.
So Stanky gets on his high horse and starts basically a campaign to let everybody know, the Big 10 and the SEC
are going to get 4 automatic bids.
We are doing what's best for sport. We are the needle in college football. Nobody has to play the schedule that we have.
No logic in that.
He just basically came out feeling kind of like he was targeted. So they're basically trying to legitimize the reason why the SEC wants 4 automatic bids and doing all this stuff. Like, to me, and Haven Harrison, you can let me know, this felt like an unnecessary reaction from Greg Sankey. Don't you think so?
That's exactly what it is. The man sent a 7-page dossier to the media talking about why Alabama and Ole Miss deserve to be in the playoffs because of they didn't play a murderous road schedule. But conveniently leaving out that all their losses go to the worst team that they played on their schedule.
It was ridiculous.
To the SEC, the Big 10, because they want 4 automatic bids for themselves, and everybody else just pick up crumbs off the table.
They continue to try to perpetuate this whole, guess what, we don't have to play teams in the non-conference because the SEC is so good. We don't have to do this and don't have to do that because the SEC is so good. If the SEC was so good, how in the world did Texas, who wasn't even good in the Big 12, come into the SEC and immediately dominate the SEC year one? If the SEC is so great, tell me how that happened. Like, give me a break. Like, the SEC, they're just trying to they've continued to do this, Roman, where they want to continue to everybody just needs to take it for granted. Okay, so we'll all just agree the SEC, regardless of what they do, they're just the best football, period. The Big Ten,
because they play
the best football because they play each other. Like, that's what they've been trying to push this narrative.
Everybody else plays each other.
It's stupid. It's stupid, and now they're trying to.
The Big Ten.
Yeah, go ahead, Ava.
It's like the Big Ten. Like outside of Ohio State and Penn State, what else did the Big Ten have? I mean, Indiana had a great year, but like their main programs were off all last season. Michigan was off. Michigan State was bad. Wisconsin was off. All the big name programs outside of Ohio State and Penn State were suspect.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to give the Big Ten 4 guaranteed bids, who are going to be those 4?
The SEC middle of the pack wasn't even great this year.
No! The SEC is still trying to live off of the power that Nick Saban brought to Alabama 15 years ago.
Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, Florida, those teams aren't what they used to be.
No! They're not. Like, and instead, like, and Haven, you can tell me if I'm wrong, if you are playing in it, because they're going to move to 16 teams, I believe, in 2 years. They're going to move to the 16-team playoff. Okay, and when that happens, that's where the Big Ten and the SEC are trying to get these 4 guaranteed bids. But, Haven, correct me if I'm wrong, if you do guaranteed bids for the number 1 group of 5 and then the 4 Power 4 teams, that leaves 11 at-large bids, to where they go to the 11 most deserving teams. If you do that, it's going to take care of itself, right?
The SEC's so good anyway, it shouldn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
You should be in that top. You should have 3 to 4 teams in that top 11 anyway. If you guys are so good,
yeah, you should.
Why do you need the insurance? Why do you need to insure no matter what? You get the 4 in.
That's stupid.
If the top 11 outside of the 4 are going to be the top 11 teams in college football, if the SEC's so good, it should be 3 plus SEC teams in there anyway, right?
I would think that there would be at least 3 to 4. I would say Haven, what would you say? In the top 16, you would think that at least 5 SEC teams is going to be in the top 16, right?
At least. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to squeeze it to where the playoff literally just is 1 team from the ACC, 1 team for the Big 12, 1 group of 5 or group of 6, how many other groups are going to be.
And then 13 SEC Big 12. SEC Big 10.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
No one wants to see that.
No, it's ridiculous. They need to keep it with just a single automatic bid, and then everybody. Because they don't do that in March Madness. It's not like the ACC, because of what the ACC has done over their history of basketball, said, well, we can all just agree that the ACC's got the best basketball, so the ACC should get 3 automatic bids to the big dance every year. Like, that's just stupid. Like, if you're good enough to get in, you're going to get in. So it's trying to corner the market. It's all about trying to guarantee as much money as possible. And not trying to penalize teams for losing games, pretty much. They want to say that, well, when you lose, you're losing to an SEC team. And like you said, Haven Harrington, like Alabama lost to an average Vanderbilt team. There was teams losing to, average to below average Florida teams. Like, come on, man. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Ole Miss lost to a bad Kentucky team.
Ole Miss lost to that was the only SEC win that Kentucky had.
Yeah.
Was Ole Miss.
Pitiful.
Like, come on. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Like, get out of here, Greg Stanky. That's why he's Greg Stanky. That right there. I'm tired of the SEC. See, Haven, this is why I don't like football. They always trying to do too much.
It's not just football. The SEC and Big Ten have their way. They will probably try to pull Florida State and Clemson and then create their own little league for basketball and football.
Nobody will watch that. Nobody will watch that. Nobody will watch that. Like, and this is the thing that the SEC and the Big Ten need to understand, is that the more they try to put reins on it, and I agree with the commissioners from the ACC and the Big 12, you're not doing what's best for college athletics. You're doing what's best for your constituency. You're doing what's best for the SEC.
What's best for what university TV wants.
Yeah. How can we make as much money as possible? You're not doing it for the good of the sport. And they basically showed their hand. They were in their feelings because they know good and damn well they're not doing what's best for the sport. They know it.
No, the things that made college sports so great was it was so regionalized, right? You had the Pac-12, all the Pac-12 teams.
Yeah.
And they played a different style of football than the Southeastern Conference. And the Big 12 was like that Texas, Oklahoma area. Then you had the Big 10, which is the Midwest, and the ACC, which was the Southeast on the coastal. You know, all that's gone.
That Perry's gone, Nathan. Yeah, they've gotten rid of that. They got Western Coast teams playing out here now.
I mean, it's terrible. I mean, the Big Ten actually started the demise of college athletics with going out there and poaching Washington and Oregon, as well as USC and UCLA. I mean, that changed forever the way. I mean, they killed the Pac-12.
Yep. And they put SEC on its back heel. The ACC on its back heels.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. They've done it to themselves. They know they've done it. So now, but they don't want you to say anything about it. That's the whole thing.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Don't make them look like the bad guys. They're not the bad guys. They're just doing what's,
That's for college sports.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Get out of here, Stanky. I appreciate that. Hey,
they were killed by Fox Sports.
Oh, God.
I mean, this whole thing is an orchestra by ESPN and Fox Sports.
Yeah.
They decided, if these guys go, we'll give you all this money. Who cares about the sport?
Yeah, no. Absolutely. But I tell you what, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and take a break.
High school sports ignite pride unlike anything else. Just listen to these student athletes from across the great state of Indiana.
Playing high school sports means representing my school and community, being a positive example, showing everyone what we stand for.
It's a reminder that the name on the front of my jersey is just as important as the name on the back.
Because it's
and the fans.
Welcome back in. Last segment of the show. Wake up 502 96.1 F50 AM. And we got it going down. Appreciate everybody that's been listening all day. 502-414-1450. That is the Wake Up 502 96.1 Big X text line if you want to get involved. And I'll tell you what, man. First of all, Haven Harrington, before we get to this NBA news of the week, and my question for Roman Kelly, I just want to ask you, like, have you seen all these OTA kind of like, I don't want to call them hype videos, but there's a lot of talk about all these newcomer quarterbacks and what they're doing in OTAs, like JJ McCarthy, the Vikings quarterback, former Michigan quarterback. He got injured. Is trying to make a comeback. He's going to be starting this year, presumably for the Vikings. Sam Darnold. There's been a lot of hype about like what JJ McCarthy has been doing in OTAs, and a lot of hype about what Shedeur Sanders is doing in OTAs, and there's been some discussions about what Tyler Shuck has been doing in OTAs. Like, I don't ever remember this much conversation about like
young guys in 7-on-7.
Yeah, like, have you noticed
a little bit, and I think that's partially sorry, Haven, go ahead, Haven.
There's a ton of hype. I've been seeing like Shedeur Sanders videos and how he been pushed for starting time in Cleveland, and he going elite balls and giving out all his stats and practices. I think this is the NFL's way of trying to hype up the preseason, to get preseason viewership up.
You know what? That is a good point, Haven. Like, I did not think about that, but yeah, maybe that's what's going on, because I don't ever remember people talking about OTAs before, like, ever.
Not like this.
Like with stats and everything.
I feel like it was actually the opposite with quarterbacks.
Yes,
for young quarterbacks, you're trying to like not let the OTA statistical stuff come out or any of the footage come out unless you know it's perfect.
Yeah. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's very odd. But Haven Harrington, I think you got to the bottom of it. It makes sense. They're trying to drum up more interest for the preseason games. NFL definitely wants to be 365 days a year. So that's
going to work.
You think so?
And it's going to work. Everybody's going to be super excited to see if Shedeur really is that good. So all the Cleveland's like first preseason games when they're playing Door and they're running Dylan Gabriel out there, everybody's going to watch it just to see if he's really as good as he was in practice. Everybody's going to see what Tyler Shuck is doing in Williams because he's now the man. And so everybody's going to be curious.
I mean, Roman, let me tell you something. I saw 3 different tweets from Browns media. One said Joe Flacco is going to be the starter. One said Dylan Gabriel is going to be the no-doubt starter. The other one says that Shedeur Sanders has been the best quarterback in the OTAs in the history of football. Like, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't get that. Dylan Gabriel got the most touchdowns. Flacco got the most yards.
It's so fun.
This guy's got the most completions, and they're all battling for the first spot.
Like, it's crazy, man. It was very funny. I saw that. I had to bring it up just because it is funny, but I think Haven's right. I think they're just trying to hype up, I think they're trying to hype up the preseason.
All these guys are going to be playing in the preseason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be tuning in, definitely. check it out. So I guess the NFL got me. They got me.
They're doing's working.
Hey, just to ask you guys, I know we have nothing to go off of, but who do you all think is the leader in the clubhouse for the Browns starter? Since Deshaun Watson's going to be out, is it Flacco? Is it Dylan Gabriel? Is it Shador?
It's week 1. It's Flacco. You don't throw a rookie who's never played out there on game 1. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
Unless you're selling tickets.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Unless you're selling tickets.
But then you just don't announce the starter. You let them not know till game time. They're going to buy the tickets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think maybe, third quarter, fourth quarter, depending on how that game goes. If it's a close game and Flacco's having an efficient night, he's not gonna come out. If they start getting messed up or he throws 2 picks or they can't get any points across, then third quarter, fourth quarter, yeah, you bring on Gaylor Shador.
Well, Roman, I know the real battle you're worried about is that prolific battle upcoming between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. I know that's what you want to see.
Oh yeah. It's same thing though, Sean. I mean, they don't even have all the linemen playing. They're not even wearing helmets yet. It's like, yeah, great pass. Let's see you do it with the actual pass rush. Both guys and for all these young guys. It's like I'm gonna believe it when I see it. And I don't mean that for Tyler, but I want more so. Yeah. I know that the New Orleans fans are going to be under an impression that they're going to believe it when they see it. So I'm just kind of waiting for this all to start up, the true OTA training and official everybody playing for each position in full scrimmage sets. So Tyler's seeming like he's doing the job. I mean, you saw the long ball to Bub Means.
Nice pass.
Great pass. Great pass. I'm hearing he's got great chemistry, pretty good chemistry with Raheem Shaheed in that deep ball. So, I mean, we've got the weapons. New Orleans has got the weapons. They've got a couple of deep threat guys. You've got the can catch anything player in Olave. If Tyler can understand what it means to be behind an NFL level offensive line and understand how intense that NFL defense, just to those two things, he's got everything else. Raashaan, he's ready.
I think Tyler Shuck's ready, definitely. And he's definitely better than Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler wasn't even good in college. I still don't know how that dude's on the NFL roster. Like, he's got more.
Because he's got a Karen. He can throw it far.
That's it. Because he feels like the dude that has gotten so many chances everywhere he's been. Like, he was crafty in South Carolina. I can't remember where he was at before he went to South Carolina. He was somewhere else. He transferred in. Like, Spencer Rattler's always been terrible.
Yeah, he's not very good. He wasn't very good at the end of the year last year. But because of him actually getting the experience out there, I would not be surprised if he takes that first snap on week 1. Yeah. I do think Tyler has enough already in his game and his ability and enough time to go change that. But you know how these coaches get when they that safety that they feel from knowing what you're about to go see out there.
Yeah.
But when New Orleans is kind of not like there's a weird mindset with New Orleans because we're kind of in win now mode, kind of like we don't have a quarterback. We got to figure out the quarterback, and you can't win now mode without a winning quarterback.
Yeah, I think they have to throw Tyler Shuck to the Wolves.
In the fire?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do.
I want that, and I think he's ready for that, but since James Wiseman, since the Drew Brees retirement, we've been doing that, and we haven't had success in doing that.
That's fair.
So, I mean,
the difference is, like, Tyler's old.
True, that is the difference, yes.
Advantage.
Yeah.
As a rookie quarterback, he's old. He's seen everything. He's been playing quarterback 7 years in college. So
yeah, but he's from the sideline.
I think that. Yeah, but I think it's against the NFL speed. It's a game.
Denver Broncos that I thought with the Chuck Ford team, like a New Orleans, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders, I thought that he would be attracted to a team like that that's ready to win now, that needed, that didn't necessarily have the quarterback capital that they needed to be successful. Tyler Shuck looks like a plug-and-play guy in that type of scenario and situation. And that's pretty much the way that it's bored out. Like I don't know if he's going to be quote-unquote ready, Roman, game 1, but I think that he should just get thrown into the fire and figure it out. Because to me, it just feels like any snaps that Spencer Rattler gets are just wasted possessions. I hate to say that.
I don't know if he's the correct decision maker. I don't think he's an NFL level decision maker, if I'm being honest.
He's so bad.
But he's got the arm talent, so we'll see.
He's like Jeff George. I know that's well before your time, Roman.
We got some text in here, Raashaan.
Oh, okay. What we got on the text line?
We got some text line, and we got some X chat text.
What we got going on?
Some chatters. We got some chatters in the X chat.
I like
it. With the X chat first. Got a couple here from Mr. Sean Hampton. He said, this is a question for Haven. Is the Giants a great spot for Russell Wilson? And is Tyler Shuck the number one QB in New Orleans? And lastly, Shedeur Sanders will be QB1 hit in Cleveland.
Oh,
What do you think of that, Haven? Is Russell Wilson a good spot or the Giants a good spot for Russell? Is Tyler Shuck going to be QB1 down in New Orleans? And he's letting you know that Shedeur will be QB1 in Cleveland. Shout out to Sean Hampton for getting to the comments.
Tyler Shuck definitely QB1. I think in Cleveland is going to be a push between Shedeur and Flacco. But
Flacco.
Honestly, I think Shedeur may get the nod because he's going to sell more tickets. I mean, people's going to come and watch him play, and his jersey's been selling pretty well. So
Shedeur Sanders sucks, Haven. Look here, I'm tired of people trying to hype up Shedeur Sanders. He sucks. Dylan Gabriel is way better than him. I don't care how many tickets he's gonna sell. Yeah,
Shedeur's a robot.
I am Team Dylan Gabriel.
Shedeur's a robot, Haven. You know it.
I mean, it's like who else in Cleveland is going to start?
That's why I agree with Haven
out there. But who cares? In their division, it won't matter. They're going to get beat down anyway.
You're right. And I think because of that,
as much money as you can.
You've got Prime Son in here. He's young, black, flashy QB. Even though he doesn't do anything that the other black QBs do, he's not a runner. He's not a game breaker with his athleticism or his feet like we've seen other black QBs be. But he's got that flashiness. He's got that confidence. He's got that 12. He's wearing that 12 with that Sanders on the back, and it's going to sell tickets.
Boo this
and at the end of the day, he's got a cannon on him too. He can launch that football. I don't think he can read a defense fast. I don't think he's a quick reader of defenses at all. And
I would say his arm is adequate. I wouldn't say cannon. I would say
launch it. You're right. It's adequate. It's no Dylan Gabriel or it's no Spencer Rattler type of thing or no Josh Allen or nothing like that. And not prime Deshaun Watson even kind of an arm, but he can let it fly. He's had multiple of those 400, 300 plus yard games. If you give him a game-breaking receiver, which he's got a couple in there, you got a good tight end, he's going to be serviceable.
You ask me, Shedeur Sanders is going to be checked down, Charlie. Every pass is going to be within 5 to 10 yards.
There's no game-breaking receiver on that team. He doesn't have a deep threat. He doesn't have what was the kid's name? Horn Jr.?
Yeah.
Isaiah Horn Jr., I believe maybe was his name?
Yeah. It wasn't Joe Horn. It was Derek Horn.
Derek Horn Jr.?
Yeah, I believe so.
He got drafted. He went undrafted.
And he had a guy named Travis Hunter. So,
and then you've got Travis Hunter. You've got the Heisman, and then you got one of the fastest receivers in college football last year out on the other side, and you're going up against defenses that couldn't hang with those kind of guys who shouldn't have been in that conference. Those two receivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't have that. You got Njoku. You've got a big, strong tight end. I mean, who's the best Cleveland receiver now?
That's fair.
Now that Amari left up to go play with Josh Allen. Who's the next best receiver? Jerry Jeudy?
I get probably Jeudy.
Jeudy. I think Jeudy was the best after the trade. So it'll be interesting. But I'm going to waste my because I agree with both of you. I think he's not good. I don't think he's ever going to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he can read defenses fast enough. And by the time he can read a defense fast enough, it won't matter. He won't be in any contending situation ever. I don't think unless I'm wrong and he creates a contender out of his own ability. I don't see that happening. He's a robot. He's got a robotic movement in the pocket. He's not the fastest thinker in the pocket, and he doesn't have game-breaking athleticism. So, but with that being said, he does have accuracy, mid-range, the medium range throws accuracy. He is a smart quarterback. Like he has a high IQ. He just outside of reading those defenses in that offensive line, he knows the right play to make. He knows the right throw to make on offense. Can he go do that against NFL level defenses? I don't think so. But with that being said, he's going to sell way more tickets than either one of those guys. So I think he'll start by week 2 or week 3.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Well,
I'm. It's like this, right? Like Cleveland is not really going to challenge with their roster right now. They're not going to challenge the playoffs. They may make playoffs, but they're going to lose in the first game anyway.
I don't think they make the playoffs.
It's all about sell tickets, make as much money as you can this year, have these guys be bust. You got them on rookie contracts. You can make a move in the offseason and then make that big push.
All right, what other text we got? I gotta move on from this Shedeur Sanders conversation because
we've got Raashaan hating like Jay has on Shedeur Sanders. Raashaan, is that your son or today's special guest, or is he part of the DeBarge family?
That's
our intern James. Intern James, he's an intern. He'll be learning how to run the board. So if there's ever a reason Raashaan can't come in and it's me or Haven, James can come in and run the board. If I can't come in, James can come in. We're building a team. We're building up a team here. We got to have a roster. We got to have guys who can make things happen for us. If it's just if we're out.
Absolutely, man. We're trying to build that bench depth. If you want to get into to sports radio or get into media in general, man, like we have had a long-standing tradition of trying to help the next generation get on and understand what it takes to make it. Look at our success story in Roman Kelly. Roman's got his own show now. He was nice enough to invite me on the show yesterday. So, yeah, he's got two parts of the same show or two different shows.
Like half-hour shows.
Roman's the man, you know what I'm saying? And he came up to
starting here. Wake up 5:02, 9 to 11.
We're trying to build the bench depth, man. That's what we got to do.
Getting James integrated here. So he's senior down at Manual.
Nice.
Looking to go into the sports media scene in college. And, Haven introduced him to us, and we're helping him out.
Shout out Manual Crimson.
We've got another text in here.
Okay.
They're coming at you today, Raashaan.
That's fine. It's all good. I can take it.
Raashaan, you cherry-picking Cards fan. Bragging about a Greek and Africa player in Alley who averaged like 4 points.
Hey, you know what? Ali Khalifa is going to do what he needs to do. You feel me? Like, I need him to set screens and make a beautiful passes and knock down an open jump shot. Ali Khalifa doesn't need to be a star, okay? Like, understand this. Mikael Brown is the number one point guard in the nation. So we have our floor general. We have our ball handler, leader, etc. Isaac McNeely is going to be the best shooter in college basketball. Ryan Conwell was one of the best scorers in all of basketball and in the Big East last year. And Adrian Woolley is considered to be maybe the top up-and-coming sophomore in basketball. Okay, so understand this. When I talk about the African kid, I talk about the Greek guy, I talk about Ali Khalifa, all those guys are fifth option type players. But guess what? Those guys are really good at what they do as the fifth option. Ali is a passer. The Greek kid is a rebounder, screener, defender. And the African kid defending on the perimeter, being a switchable defender, and playing with all-out effort. And that's all that Louisville needs them for. We have our stars. We have Case and Pryor. We have Adrian Woolley. We have Ryan Conwell. We have Mikael Brown. Am I wrong, Roman?
No, you're right. That's what we've got. And that
UK, on the other hand, is trying to bring in the sidekicks and make the sidekicks superheroes. UK's whole team is sidekicks. They may be well-paid sidekicks, but none of these dudes have ever been the man. And that's the difference. You can like it, you cannot like it, but tell me I'm lying.
You're not lying. You're not lying. And that's going to make a difference.
That's all I'm saying. Like Louisville has guys that are used to being the man. None of these cats that are going to be in Lexington have ever been the man. So,
got another question on the chat for you, Raashaan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would like, another question. Just say, I would pay, from Sean Hampton, I would pay to see Louisville basketball versus Louisville TBT this summer. That's a big
Yes.
I know you agree with this take, though, so get into this.
I am advocating for it. I've tweeted them and added both the University of Louisville and Louisville TBT. To me, it makes perfect sense. TBT is going to be, getting rocking and rolling the end of July. By early July, all of the Louisville guys will be back. Even if Mikael Brown makes Team USA, he'll be back by early July. So, to me, it makes perfect sense. We're going to have everybody on campus. TBT's going to need some action. Louisville needs some action. Why not sell tickets? Why not sell tickets? Do it at Knights Hall. Let's do it at Freedom Hall. Let's do it down at Shawnee Park. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let those teams come out there and do it. Haven, you like that?
I like it.
I mean, that's all I'm saying, man. It's like, why not? Why not do it, man? Like, you know, so I would love to see the Louisville TBT. And Roman, you up there talking about you don't know if Louisville lost to the TBT team, you know, people might get in their feelings. And shout out to Earl Clark, who has now announced that Earl Clark will now be part of the TBT squad. So
yes, that's
awesome.
True.
Yeah, E5 is back. E5 is back. So, no, I'm excited about the TBT. So, yeah, let's make it happen. Now, do we got any more text before I get to my question, Roman?
I believe we do. Nope, that was it.
We're good?
That was it.
Wonderful. All right, so NBA, quick, I got one thought, and then we can talk about these conference finals. First of all, my question, or my thought and comment for you, Roman, and for you, Haven Harrington, is this. The NBA made a decision this year. They made a decision and disseminated that to the officials, presiding over the NBA playoffs to allow this to be the most physical playoff since the early 2000s, early 90s. It's been by far the most physical playoffs that we have seen. We saw some teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers really, really thrive because of the physicality. We saw other teams, crumble under it, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Los Angeles Lakers. We saw some teams that were able to utilize and use this physicality to their advantage. Other teams, it killed them, and they just couldn't handle it. My thing is this. If the NBA, if this is the direction that the NBA wants to go in, and they want to allow physical basketball, defensive basketball, rough and tumble basketball to be back into the league, let's do that all year long. Let's not completely flip the script and change the product from the regular season to the playoffs. I love it. I love defensive basketball. I love the thought that you could bring defenders back into the game. But to me, this is something that needs to start game one, so that way, when we get to the playoffs, your product does not drastically change. And I think we're better for it. What do you think about that, Roman?
I think it needs to start some months earlier, if not, because I get the people's rebuttal that if there's a certain aspect of basketball that's being played early in the year, these guys won't make it. Practices aren't set up to be that hard body like they used to be in the early 2000s.
You gotta toughen them up, though, right?
I agree.
That's how you toughen them up, right?
Started in January.
Yeah.
Started in January. After Christmas, things get turned up. After All-Star break, it's playoff basketball.
Like that.
After the All-Star break, it is play and the referees and how we're going to call the game. We're going to turn you guys up after Christmas, and then after the All-Star break, it's up from there.
Hey, man, what you think about that?
Step one, get rid of from the movement. Step two, bring back handshaking. Then bring back the physical play. Got to give the guys a chance to get used to it.
I think if you just let them sit in the paint, either take the college or FIBA rule, let them sit in the paint, like bring the handshaking back. I think if you change one specific rule like that, Raashaan, it changes the game.
I think that it would be for the better.
Let the bigs sit in the paint if they want to.
Like, I think that it's time. Happens. I think that it's time.
Watch what happens. I mean, Luka and Rudy have explained it. Like, FIBA's a whole different. Luka is not the same place. Like, I'm not the same player when 7'2" Rudy Gobert is underneath the rim for the entire possession. I can't operate the same, right? It's a whole different game when you get to let that big be down low, and then you get to go, like, people will say, well, what about if you bring the stretch 5? Bring the stretch 5 out. Let's combat the new skill set with the old defensive tactics, right? Let's really see how good. Let's see how good of a brand of basketball you can create.
You're damn right.
Rudy Gobert out in the paint, preventing the drive at all costs, and you've got a 32% 5-man out there. That's interesting to me. Is the 5-man going to hit the 3 enough to make that worth it? To make Rudy being off of him down in the paint and stopping any layups at all costs, like. That would be interesting.
Absolutely.
How it's underlooked if Randall could sit down there the entire time. Hartenstein can't play. If Rudy can stay in the paint the entire possession, Hartenstein can't play. Then you've got Chet out there. And I get that still would have given OKC an advantage, but that would have completely changed the way certain aspects of that series could look.
Let's bring defense back, Roman.
Bring it back. Bring the hand checks back. Let the bigs sit in the paint all the whole possession if they want to.
Hey, couple of thoughts else before we get out of here. First of all, the news out there, it sounds like the Cat are now willing to entertain trades for Darius Garland. So I think that's a must. I think that's big for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got to go.
We've got enough time here, Raashaan, before we get out, just because this is the sake of Donovan Mitchell here.
Absolutely.
If I'm the Cavs, I'm trying to keep Jared Allen. I'm not as a starter. Not as a starter. If I can get Jared Allen to come off the bench to be my backup 5 to Aaron Mobley, make Donovan Mitchell my point guard, and go get another DeAndre Hunter if I can with that Garland and some picks.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I think Jared Allen is actually worth more as a trade piece, honestly. I think Haven just disconnected.
We lost the architect.
That's okay. That's all right. Haven had to thank you for calling in as always. So I agree with you. I think you move both of them because they're both way too valuable in terms of trade fodder. They're talking about a Jalen Suggs for Darius Garland deal right now. So
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Not at all.
Suggs is one of the best perimeter defenders at the guard position in the NBA.
Roman, what's going to happen tonight? Knicks Pacers. Do the Knicks extend the series to a Game 7? What's going to happen?
No, they don't. Pacers get the job done tonight. I think it's a close one. I think it's going to be the most exciting game in the series. But ultimately, in close games that we've seen in Indiana, they come out with wins. So I think Halliburton goes for 20 plus and extends that series, that streak of when he scores 20 plus, the Pacers get the win.
Tonight's going to be the best game of the playoffs so far.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be an amazing game. I think that Karl-Anthony Towns is playing at an extremely high level. I think that Jalen Brunson is going to do everything he can to get this thing back to New York. Spike Lee is going to be in the building. I think that it's going to be exciting. It's going to be emotional. Which one way or the other, I think all the stress and all the pressure is on Indiana. If they're going to get to the finals, they got to do it tonight. I don't see them winning the Game 7 in New York. So they got to get it done. I'd love to see the Pacers get there, even though I was picking the New York Knicks. To see the Pacers get there, I think it's good for the league, and it's good for Tyrese Halliburton. He's been the focal point of the playoffs. Even though Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP, and he's already got his team to the final shutout to the Thunder, in a lot of ways, Tyrese Halliburton has become the face of this playoffs. So, hey, let's get them to the playoffs. Roman Kelly, thank you so much for everything you do. Haven Harrington, once again, thanks for everything you do. Big Ed, LFA 210, thank you so much. And thanks, everybody, for listening and texting. We out. Wake up 502. See you next week.